So can you hear me? I'm sorry for the delay. There was an accident and I was extremely busy today. Yes. So no one is here yet, but I just start the live stream to for Living the Archive. Okay. So let's start the 10 minutes game. It's late in Japan time, so maybe just 1 hour. Just few games. So today I will play the Central Rook, which is my favorite opening. Now there were several options and I chose this. Maybe it's good to show you. I also explained this in my video course. This is kind of joseki, and the meaning of each move is a little complicated, so so going back to silver was a very important move. So now the mino is completed. Hello. So now the mino is completed. So I think it's easier for me to play. And now there's a very so this is a very dangerous move, and it seems that there is a good attack, but I'm not very sure if it really works so well. It will be an exchange of the rook and the bishop, almost for sure if I want, and I will just show you. So the rook comes to h4, and I take the pawn, and there's a good. I don't know if it's a good move, but there's a move I wanted to show you. And if he takes with the rook, then he should have taken the bishop first. Now this is a fork, and I'm better. So just exchanging the bishop is possible, but if he drops a pawn, it will be weak against the lance, so I will take the lance and drop somewhere. I can also take the knight, but it's a little far from the king, so I would rather attack more directly. Now it's a little difficult for the opponent. If he drops a silver here, it's safe, but he doesn't have materials, so he should take the knight, but this is severe. Since he doesn't have a pawn. Now I just need to be careful against the opponent's attack. directly on the king. For example, if I give the bishop, then he has a knight, so I only need to care about this kind of attack. So this last seems severe, but not so much in this position. Hmm. I can take the lance or just let him promote, and I can take back with the gold and it's safe. So, so there are several options, and I'm sure I'm better, but mm, I need to calculate correctly here. Hmm. It's a very patient move. I don't need to hurry in this position. Hello, thank you. I'm sorry for the late. I was extremely busy today, and because of the accident at work. Hmm. So it starts with this, and if I don't want to play this opening, I should have played uh, this. Sorry, like this way. Before the silver comes here, I should create this shape if I want to play this. And in this position, so if he goes up the silver, then I can also go up the silver. But yes, this move exists, and I will lose a pawn first, but it's kind of Joseki, and it's just an equal position. Mm. If I don't go back the silver, then he will jump the knight next and drop the pawn in front of the rook. So, so going back is also an Joseki. Mm. And I think this move was a little dangerous, and instead he should have just played this move. But he can't jump the knight immediately because I can take. If he takes, then there is a fork with the bishop this way, and uh, if he takes with the bishop first, then it's almost the same, like this. So, but he should have played the pawn first. So this is a move that frequently appear in Nakabisha Central game. He should have. So the actual game, I'm clearly better. He should have taken with the bishop first, and I shouldn't lose the silver. Now the king is still in 3-2. He's not in the in 2-2. So hello. So in this position, I should take the rook first, and he would take the lance and drop the rook like this. And I wasn't very sure if it really works in this position. I'm not sure if I'm better or no in this position. I think it's close to equal game. So in my serious game, maybe I will not choose this line. I will read carefully until the end, and I will decide. Maybe I will not choose this line. Mm. This is a strong line, but my castle isn't very strong compared to the opponent's castle. If he took these two pieces and the horse comes here like this, so I didn't really wanted to play that position, but I thought it's better to show you this this tesuji. And from here, I got an clear advantage. If he does this, it's safe, but I will just take the lance or knight or just erase the bishop first. And this pawn works very well. For example, with the pawn here, the knight can't jump here. So even this position, I have a clear advantage. So it was already good for me. Okay, so let's go to the next game. I think I need to check the screen. It's okay. Yes, for that. So maybe it was a little early, but it works here. For old player, I never recommend to play Shikembisha in the double ranging rook game. Never. Because it's weak against all strategies. Now I can already take the pawn. But just going back, the rook here is also severe. The rook to 2-6 next, and the silver here exists, so he should use the silver somewhere, and I already got a clear advantage. So against the bishop drop, I have several options. Just going up the king works well, and so the position is clearly better for me, but I need to be careful. This kind of move is very important. Not hurrying too much to attack. Since there wasn't a very clear attack yet, this kind of cool move is very important. And now I think I can find a counter attack. For example, the bishop drop here. Since he doesn't have many pieces, I don't need to hurry. I just play slowly, and so I didn't drop the pawn here because he can take the pawn, and I should protect the knight again. So it seems a little risky, but sacrificing the rook is a little too much here, I think. So I chose this. So the opponent's castle isn't very strong castle against the double rook. So sacrificing the rook is a little too much. Taking with the silver and with double rook, it's very difficult to defend. So the reason I never recommend Shikembisha in the double ranging rook game is that if I choose Mino, if he stays in the force file, it's not easy to attack this file because two gold and silvers are protecting. So he will surely change to other file later, like switching to opposing rook or something. So you will just lose one move in the very opening, so it doesn't make sense at all. Attacking, just attacking the force fire never work against Mino, and you should surely need to change to the opposing rook or third fire rook. And he changed it to the third fire rook, but he already lost one move and my attack was faster, so it's a very good example why Shikembisha isn't a good strategy in double ranging rook. This is one of the most important thing, but in Shogi Wars I see many players, even 5 down or 6 down players, play Force Fire Rook, so it's never a good idea. And now the knight works very well, because if the knight wasn't here, he could have dropped the bishop here to target my rook and my king, my castle at the same time, but it's impossible, so there's nothing really scary in this position for me. So the position is already clear. I will capture the rook next. I will try to capture the rook next and attack with the double rook. The exchanging the rook was also possible, but since his rook isn't working so well, it's better to not exchanging and leave the opponent's rook on the board. Yes, this kind of bishop was a little scary, but this is not so severe. This square was good, but the knight is there, so the gold position is bad, but didn't want to give him the possibility to attack. And now he's targeting this square with the bishop and the rook, but it's not severe yet. But the pawn drop here is more annoying for me. Because I want to drop the lance here, which is a normal move, but he would drop the pawn here and it doesn't work so well. So if I play carefully, I will just drop the pawn and drop the silver here to protect, but I don't think it's a very correct move, so I will play differently maybe. I don't really need to protect this square because even after the bishop promotion, it's not so dangerous. I can just drop the pawn here. So, I don't know if it's a very good move, but I think still I'm clearly better. Thinking. he should just escape the rook here, but I will just promote the bishop here. Now I think it's clear. This rook is too strong. He should just sacrifice the horse, but he has no piece to attack, so hello. I have 2 golds, so it was an easy game, and this is the reason why I never recommend to play. Maybe the order was wrong. He could have exchanged the bishop here, and it was a different game. So I should have just pushed the pawn to 5/5 here, but hmm. So just the attack from the center is already severe with the bishop going up to h6 next. So he changed the rook's file, but already he lost 1 move. So he should have played the third file rook from the beginning. So it doesn't make sense to play this way. And even if I don't attack the center with the silver, there's no attack on the fourth file from this position. So he will surely change the third file rook or opposing rook. So he will anyway just lose 1 move. I could have just taken the pawn with the rook. It works as well, but this is better. And he didn't want to use a silver here or here, and in that case I will just play slowly. Sorry. In this case I will just push the pawn and play this way. I have 1 pawn and 1 silver in hand, so this is also clearly better. And from here it was easy. But I don't want it to play this kind of move immediately here, because he has the attack like this. I'm still okay, still clearly winning, but this is a safer move, and I wanted this position. This bishop never works, so I would just drop the bishop 5/5 or 6/6 or 3/3. I don't know, and so this kind of move is, I think it's good to remember. So I thought the worst move here is this kind of attack immediately. If I give him too many pawns, he will have the attack. For example, just dropping the pawn here is also already annoying. I don't really want to take with the silver. So as an attack, this is the fastest attack, I think. But since the position is clearly better, I didn't want to give him a chance. So I think this is the best move in this game. Okay. So let's go to the next game. Sorry for starting late today. There was some accident at work and I was extremely. Ah, so this is called Chokyusen in Japanese word, maybe super rapid attack. And I can show you what happens if I just play naturally. In my serious games, I don't want to play this, and instead I will go up this bishop, but because it's too risky. So this is the latest Joseki. I forgot this. I haven't played for many years, like about 10 years. So I don't remember everything, but yes, it will be interesting. So maybe it's better to show you. Yes, this pawn drop was played by Sugai-san before. And there are several options here for the opponent, and I forgot what was the best for me. It's a really difficult game, and normally I shouldn't play this without a preparation. I thought taking the knight was a Joseki. I don't remember anything already, so so in the serious games, I shouldn't make even one mistake. So this is a very difficult game. I want to escape the king first, but I don't know if I have time to do this. No, this is not what Sugai-san got the Masuda award. I think now I'm getting slightly better, but still I should be careful. But I think this position isn't very bad for me. So the strong point of this Joseki is that this move could work. The gold takes the pawn and the silver also exists, but mm, mm,
7分
maybe I did make a mistake, but I'm not sure what was the main mistake until here. Maybe silver to 7-8 was a little early. I thought there's something here, but I can't find anything yet, so maybe I was wrong. If I go up the gold, the promoted knight will go back, and this is a problem. I just lost to the silver for free, so yeah, this horse works very well. If I can go up the rook, it's easy, but I can't do this. It seems difficult to reverse this position. I don't find anything. So maybe I need to just play carefully, patiently, and he will surely go back the promoted knight to. This is a bad move. He should have played differently.
5分
I want to use the rook. The horse somewhere here or here is correct, but I think it's a little difficult to play that move now. Yeah, he's a very good player. It wasn't easy to play this because he went back the bishop to attack with this diagonal, so no, it's a little difficult for me to find a way. Again, I don't think it's a very good move, but so if I could somehow use the rook, I will have a chance to reverse the position. I think it's a little dangerous way he's playing. Still not easy to find a correct way to reverse the position. Oh, it's very difficult.
3分
I want to play this move here, but I think I will lose if I play that. I will let him play the. Yeah. This move is very annoying.
2分30秒 2分
I couldn't find any other option. So now it will be a matter of if there's a checkmate on the opponent's king.
1分30秒
There could be checkmate. Maybe he did a mistake, and yeah. I think there's Tsumi in this position. I'm still calculating, but if I'm correct, the lance works very well at the end, but I think yes, I have enough pieces. But not a very good game for me. If he takes with the gold, I'll drop the gold here. If he takes with the king, it's a little difficult, but I have another knight, so yeah, this is Tsumi. If he takes with the gold, I'll promote the Rook and it was a very dangerous game. Too dangerous game. I shouldn't have played that without preparation. So this was the Joseki until here, and I forgot Uh, which was the correct move? I thought taking the knight was correct here. Mm, yeah, there are too many options for both. So going up the silver is also an option. But mm, so on the next move, if I do something, for example, like this, I was afraid of this move. If I escape here, he will sacrifice the knight and take the silver with the horse. And so it's a little difficult to protect. I don't want to drop the silver, but this was an option. Maybe just taking the lance or doing something else was better. I thought the silver, and I'm a little bitter, but mm, I didn't know what to do here. Maybe I should have defended somehow and played a slow war game. Mm, but this is also a little difficult. What? Mm, so yes, this defense was good, and I couldn't continue, and it was just an exchange of the silver and the gold. So, and he got the silver here, so now it's clearly bad for me, and this was a correct move. If I take, then the horse comes here, and this is a checkmate. So I need to play differently, but I couldn't find anything good here. So this was clearly bad. Mm, this doesn't have a strong aim, so I wanted to use the rook. If the horse goes back to 4-6, I will drop the gold here to use the rook. And the horse here was correct, but mm, from here he couldn't find a very good attack. If he used a promoted knight, then I take and the horse takes, and I can use the rook to 5-6. So he, he defended with a silver, but the other side became weak. So. And there were Tsumi at the end, so maybe he should have played differently here. Mm. But already it's a little much riskier than a few moves ago, so. Mm, mm. So he dropped the gold first, and this is a very careful move. And the meaning is that if I promote the rook here, then the silver drop is possible. And for example, I don't have the last gold to drop to 4-1, for 9, so. But from here, there was this to me. If he takes with the gold, I will promote my rook here. And if so, the actual game he took with the king, but every piece worked very well. So if he goes back the king, I will take the gold with the horse. If he takes the knight, I will just drop the gold in front of the king. If he goes here, the lance is here, so I can't drop the something here immediately, but this is to me. So every piece worked very well at the end. Okay. So I'm a little tired today, so next game is the last game today. So to play the central rook, I shouldn't close the bishop's diagonal if I want to play the Gokigen Nakabisha. He could have also exchanged the bishop, but now it's a very natural game. I think he will play the Ichoksen Anaguma, direct Anaguma from here. And this move is a little dangerous because the order is not dangerous, but a little unusual because of the gold here. So there were several options. The gold to 3-2 was also possible. Pawn to 5-6 was also an option. So this kind of pawn, this is a kind of move you should never play. In the opening, if I push back, it's equal, but I can ignore, and there's no reason to play this so early here. Maybe he wants to jump the knight here, and he was afraid of the bishop here, but it's not an immediate threat, so he shouldn't have played this pawn. It's too careful, and there are more important moves, many more important moves in this position, so the priority is very low. So now I can say that this position is already slightly better for me because of this move. And the jump, knight jump is a little dangerous, I think, but so if he wanted to play this, he could have just jumped the knight without the edge pawn. But I'm not sure if this pawn push was correct, but I couldn't find anything else, but maybe it could be a little early. So I will explain later after the game why I exchanged the bishop first and I didn't just took with the rook. So it seems that there's something on the left side, but I think there's nothing. And now please remember that if the central rook could exchange the pawn on the center and the bishop, it's usually an advantage. I'm not sure if I should push the pawn and go up the silver or just go up from here. So this position is clearly better for me, and if you are a bishop player, you should never play this kind of position. Let me exchange the bishop and the pawn on the center. So if these two things happens, the position is always clearly better for the Nakabisha. So just going the silver this way was also good, but I chose this. Taking the side pawn seems too risky, so I can already drop the bishop here. But just creating this shape is good first, and if he goes up the silver, then I will drop the bishop. So the opponent shouldn't play a slow game from here, since the shape isn't good. The possible way is to attack the edge with the silver and jumping the knight and like the subway rook. Mm, but I think I can find an attack, find a faster attack than his subway rook. I wanted to push the pawn to 6-5 some time later, so I played this position. If my silver was on 6-6, I can't push the pawn, so also are possible in that position, but I thought this is better. The next move, I can also grab the silver to 5-6 to push the pawn to 6-5. This is also a move to aim for the subway rook. But I can create a horse and I can always push the pawn to 6-5 and exchange the knight, so maybe it's not so difficult to find an attack from here. It was too short, so maybe I will play one more game. So the chosoku, the normal chosoku, the gold isn't here yet, but this is also it's not so popular, but sometimes played. And I pushed the pawn, and if I take with the rook, then he will exchange the bishop. And if I take with the silver, then the bishop drop here is severe. So it will promote here. So if I go back here, then the knight jump is severe. So this is a reason to jump the knight. So maybe it could work. So I first exchanged the bishop. Now there's no bishop drop to 6-5, and he can't jump the knight. And this is scary, but I thought I can drop the bishop here, and this position is difficult. I thought, but if uh, but there's a move I didn't see. This is also very natural, so I should have seen this move, but he can create a horse, so maybe it could be slightly worse for me. Mm, Slightly, but I think so. Maybe just pushing the pawn to 5-6 was a little early, or so I should have gone up the gold first, maybe, and then next I should have pushed the pawn. If he jumps the knight, it's too early, and I can capture the knight next. So it's a little early. So maybe I didn't make a mistake. It was a little too early, and so the Ibisha should never let just exchange the pawn here. So in this position or in other position as well, when the rook comes here with the pawn exchange, Ibisha should always uh, do some counter attack. Maybe the board isn't the analysis mode. Sorry, uh, just briefly again. So here, the reason why I didn't take the pawn with the rook is that I was afraid of it. So if I take it with the knight, then the bishop drop is annoying, and this is also scary. I don't have a bishop. There's no space to drop the bishop here on 3-3. So, and if I take with a silver, then the bishop drop here is severe this way. So maybe I should have just taken with the. No, not taken with the gone up the gold here was a correct move, I think. But so in the actual game, he should have played this way. Mm. Okay, so let's go to the final game since it was a little too short. Five pound. So in against this, I don't play usually the Nakabisha. So you might think that this is a very bad strategy, but yes, uh, I don't know why he didn't play the Ahil. If it was a misclick, uh, I want to give him a chance to. I want to give him a chance to play the normal shape, but so there's no option to do that. Yeah, I wanted to play against Ahil. I wanted to show you the Ahil game, but maybe it's just a misclick. So I wanted to give him a move, but there were no option to just lose only one move. So now I'm Sente, and the opponent is Gote. So not a very big disadvantage yet, just a equal position. A little dangerous idea to play this way. I don't recommend to play this kind of idea like bogging against Nakabisha. He plays very fast, but the position is already better for me. I think. Maybe it's a little too much to say that I'm better, but at least as a normal Nakabisha, it's not a bad position. So now I'm thinking, because I have several options. The first one is dropping the pawn to 5-5, and I really want to play that. This seems enough strong here. It seems one move late for the opponent. If it was the opponent's turn, it was almost equal, I think, but a little late to go back to silver after I pushed the pawn, and I think now it's not easy to stop my attack. He should take the pawn here, and I take the pawn, and we go up the silver. It was the correct idea, but so taking with the rook. With the bishop was also possible, but I wanted to take with the rook and swing over to 7-5. Now I have two options. Just going back the rook to 5-6 or taking the pawn to 4-4. It's still a little dangerous for the opponent. So now I think I can find a good attack here. But I need to play carefully. If I make a mistake, I will lose badly from here. So it seems that I'm slightly better. There could be a sabaki from here, but I need to read carefully because my castle isn't strong at all. So if I played the H pawn earlier, much earlier in the opening, it was safer, but I didn't play that. So now pawn to 4-5 is what I want to play, but he will surely take the rook, and I don't know whether I should take the gold with the horse, bishop, or the pawn. Taking with the bishop is strong, but my castle is too weak, so I would rather take with the pawn, and he will drop the pawn to 4-2. And I can't find a good attack yet in that position, so I'm still thinking. Sacrificing the bishop first, and the rook to 4-6 is also an option, but it seems a little too early. Just going back the rook is an option, but it's too it's too slow, I think.
5分
I really don't know what I should play here. Pawn to 4-2 is also an option, but he will take with the rook, and if I don't have a good continuation there, seems like the position isn't so good for me. I can't find anything good here, so it seems like I was better, but maybe I was wrong. I don't really play. I don't really want to play this. If he takes the rook, I want to play with the bishop, but this is too risky for the opponent. So now I have more chance, and there could be a very severe attack, so I'm reading. I don't know if I'm really winning. It's also difficult. There's a move I really want to play, but if it doesn't work, I will play the rook to a 2-6. It's not very bad, but I really want to play that attack. It seems slightly too much, but I really want to play that, but maybe if I play that I will
3
lose.
分
So I will explain you later what I really wanted to do. The pawn to 4-2, I wanted to play that, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't play that. If the gold comes to 3-5, then I will drop the bishop to 7-1 and sacrifice the bishop and continue the attack. Pawn to 5-6 is annoying here, but it's not an easy move. I think the rook here isn't a very good idea. but I don't have time.
2分30秒
And this is a bad move. The gold here. The pawn is also. Maybe he didn't see the rook here.
2分
At last, the opponent made too many mistakes. So maybe it was just a unfortunate misclick, but it's just I always got it, so still. Mm. So just pushing the pawn here and going up the silver is a safe move, but I wanted to play aggressively, so I played this, and he already tried to attack, but just going up the gold and dropping the pawn was an option. A little too aggressive, I think. Yes, going back here is very important. And if you play the Nakabisha games, one important thing you should remember is that you should never play this move. There are too many players who play this, and you can never get a good position going back the bishop here. Mm. If you want to switch to the Ishida shape, in that case, going back the bishop works. This is the only case. And in other case, if Nakabisha's bishop goes back, you can never win. If it goes back to 4-2 and try to switch to the other diagonal, like this way to this way, to 4-6 later, I don't know, but for example, this is just an example. If you try to use the bishop this way, it could work sometimes, but so I went back here, and this is too much. This is also a frequent move. The bishop could go up here, and I have many pawns, so I can stop the rook if the silver goes up. So the attack stops. So the natural bogeying, the simple bogeying never works against Nakabisha. So he went back and played defensively, and I think he should have played this move and go up the silver here. And I will continue with the pawn here, but it creates a very big weakness in my camp as well. So I didn't know if this really works. It's a little risky. But he took with the pawn, and I took with the rook. If he drops the silver here, the rook goes back here. And if he takes the pawn, then it's much more risky. I take the silver. If he takes with the gold, then there will be a fork. The bishop exchange and drop to 5-5. If he doesn't take the rook and takes the bishop first, then I can sacrifice the rook first, and this is an exchange of the rook and the gold and silver, so it's not bad for me. So he played this way. I thought this position is a little too dangerous for the opponent because I can take the pawn to 6-6. But I couldn't find a very good attack, so maybe I was wrong. This was better, I think. In this position, it's a difficult position for both. I don't have a very good attack next. The silver drop isn't. I don't think it's a good attack. So this was also an option for the opponent, but he took, and going back the rook somewhere was also possible. I really wanted to play this move. He takes with the rook. I take drop the pawn again, and he the rook goes somewhere here. If he takes, then the silver or bishop drop is severe, so he'll go somewhere else like this. And then if I escape the rook, it's a little too much, but I wanted to drop the silver here. Not the gold, the silver. I wanted to play this, but I thought this position is bad for me. The king can't just escape to 6-6 because there's a fork with the bishop to 3-9, but in this position, if I drop the gold here, I don't have enough pieces to attack the king. So I thought the position was bad for me, so I didn't choose that line and played patiently. Going back the silver was a mistake, and he should have played the go to 7-5 first, and I think I was bad in that position, even if I took this. But maybe he was afraid of this position, and he wasn't sure if he's really winning. I think I'm bad, but I understand that he didn't want to play this position. But going back to silver, it was a mistake. So he thought that he could capture the rook, but yes, this pawn works very well. He went up the king, but it already the position has already reversed, I think. Even if the rook protects this way, I will take the lance, and this lance works very well for the defense. For example, if the gold comes here, then I can always drop the lance here. This way. Now I'm winning, so the position has already reversed. Was there also silver 5-7 instead of pawn? Yes. Yes, of course, but here there was silver 5-7, but it will be like this until here. It's natural, but I didn't think this position is better for me. I don't have a clear good attack. I drop the pawn, he takes, and dropping a gold is an attack, but I don't think I can win with that. Maybe this was also an option, but if I have only that attack, this position is already slightly bad for me, I think. So I don't know where I made a mistake, but I was wrong that I thought that this position is clearly good for me. Yeah. Okay. So today, I think I could show many good example of Nakabisha. Next time I will play Shikenbisha or Sangenbisha maybe. And then the static rook again sometime later. Okay. So thank you for watching. Sorry for starting late today. Next week, I hope I can start at the usual time, 22 o'clock Japan time. I'm sorry, I started too late today. So thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.